You may have this soul connection that you can't really explain because it feels like destiny to you, but that might not be love. It may just be a trauma bond. And by the end of this video, you're going to be able to tell the difference. Because perhaps you have been through hell together, the fights, the breakups, the impossible highs, and the devastating lows, and it makes you feel bonded in a way that you can't put into words, like it's faith. And just to be sure, I'm not here to tell you that your feelings aren't real. They are intensely real, and I want to show you where that intensity is coming from. So in the next few minutes, you're going to learn what a trauma bond really is and the mechanisms that make it feel like a soulmate. And I will also answer the question that tells you whether you are in love or simply in a cycle. Because currently the thing that is binding you is in love. It's just a cycle. So let me explain the mechanism to you because everything depends on it. A trauma bond is an attachment that forms not through safety, but through repeated cycles of pain and relief with the same person. Let me repeat that again. A trauma bond is an attachment that forms not through safety, but through repeated cycles of pain and relief with the same person over and over and over again. And here's how it runs. You have a rupture. You have a fight, a betrayal, a threat of the relationship ending, and your whole system floods with distress. Then comes the repair, the apology, the reunion, the makeup sex, and the feeling that you can't live without this person. And the distress crashes into relief. And that crash from pain to relief is one of the most powerful emotional experiences that humans can experience, and your brain remembers who gave it to you. Now, the problem is it doesn't file that person as a safe person to be with. It files them under intense because the highs only feel high because the lows feel super low. So the thing that is making you feel bonded isn't love between you, is the contrast. First, you have the rupture and then you have the repair. Now, that roller coaster releases the exact chemistry that makes that person feel like a drug. Because you don't feel deeply connected because it's right. You feel deeply connected because it keeps breaking and you keep surviving it together. That's what makes it feel so addictive. So you are not reading the relationship. You are reading the intensity. So why does your mind call this person my soulmate? Because your mind is trying to explain a feeling it doesn't understand. And here's what happens. You feel something so overwhelming, an intensity that you've never felt with a calm person, someone that was stable, and your mind reaches for a story big enough to match that story. So your mind thinks, a feeling like this strong must mean something. So it tries to label it with the deepest meaning you can muster. And it calls it destiny, faith, soulmate, twin flame. But understand what those words are actually doing. They are not describing the relationship. They are just justifying the intensity. And this is the trap that most people never see because intensity and depth are not the same thing. Depth is built slowly through safety, through consistency, being truly known over time. Intensity, on the other hand, is generated instantly. It's generated through drama, through uncertainty, and the pain and relief cycle that I just mentioned. So intensity feels like depth in the moment because it's loud and it's consuming. But a relationship can be one of the most intense experiences in your life and still be the wrong person for you. So surviving something together is not the same as being right for each other. Because a soulmate is supposed to calm your nervous system. A trauma bond is always going to hijack it. So here's the reframe. And this is the most useful line I can give you. Real love regulates you. A trauma bond dysregulates you. Because your nervous system is the automatic part that tracks whether you feel safe or in danger. And is the most honest instrument that you have. Far more honest than the stories that your mind creates. So stop asking, how intense is this? And start asking, what is this doing to my nervous system? Because real healthy love over time needs to make your body settle. and your baseline becomes that of a person that feels calm. You feel more steady and less frenetic, and the relationship becomes the place where your system can relax. Now, with a trauma bond, it's completely opposite. Your body is always braced, always one text away from feeling panic or relief, and it's never resting. You're always monitoring the relationship. And I've experienced both of them. I've had the connection and I felt the fireworks that always left me anxious and obsessive about this person. And I call that the deepest love of my life. And it wasn't depth. It was just my nervous system being hijacked by a cycle that I couldn't even see or step out of. Because peace didn't feel like love to me back then. It felt like boredom. Because I've always known the roller coaster. Now, learning the difference is the real work, because you need to teach your body what calm feels like. Learning the difference is the real work, because teaching your body that calm is in the absence of love is what you need to work on. Because calm is what love feels like when you're safe. So hopefully this explains it better. And here's your next step. Now that you see the mechanism, the pain relief cycle that glues you together, the intensity that your mind recreates and calls destiny. And the real test is not how strong it feels, but what it does to your nervous system. But it's hard to judge your own cycle when you are inside of the cycle. And that's why I built the free relationship pattern assessment. It helps you see whether you are drawn to depth or drawn to intensity, and what's driving that bond. And you can find that in the link in the description of this video. And if you're ready to step out of the cycle and learn what regulated love feels like, that's where I go deeper inside of True Form, the community that we have on School. If you want to learn more about that, also the link is in the description. But I suggest that you start with the assessment first. So hopefully you like this type of content. If it has helped you in any way, the only thing that I ask is that you subscribe, as this helps me create more videos so that I can help you have a better relationship and truly experience what healthy love feels like. So with that being said, I'll see you on the next one.